All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Trading Room. This is a Thursday edition of the Trading Room. Just 3 minutes after 2. Welcome back, everyone. It has been an eventful week this week. Like we spoke on Tuesday, this week has been an eventful week. We're going to talk all about it. But if you're joining us for the first time, please do subscribe to the channel. We do this every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. All right. We also have other sessions in between. But remember, the information discussed in this session is not advice. All right. It's not advice. Please don't take it as advice. Yes. So we are back. I'm riding solo on this one. You guys will be with Ash next week. I'm sure he's somewhere in the world. No, he's actually in the Middle East giving us all the lowdown. So he will be back next week with you guys. All right. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like, the share button, turn on the notification bell so that you don't get missed out. Right? You don't miss out on any content. And yeah, the links, the websites, and all of that are on the chat right now. So as we get started with the session, guys, remember, if you want to open up an account, our website is tdmarkets.com. That's where you can check out the different accounts that we have for you. All right. You can also check out the academy, the TDME Academy, or rather the TDM Academy and also the TDME website on the same website. All right. And on that note, we are going to get started. The markets are moving. What we spoke about on Tuesday, we are seeing those movements develop. All right. Nothing has changed except there could be a bit of a change, short-term change on other assets, which you're going to talk about. But the majority of these assets remain the same. We're sticking to the same script. Obviously, we spoke about the updates of the Middle East. We are waiting for those 5 days to end. We are waiting for those 5 days to complete so that we know what's going to happen. All right. What's going to happen? The US president wants Iran to negotiate as quickly as possible. He laid out a 5-point plan. And I think one of the points in a 15-point plan is that they must not have any nuclear weapon. All right. So just keep an eye on your news websites. You guys will get this information. But the US wants Iran to just quickly negotiate and let's end this war as soon as possible. Obviously, Iran have their own demands as well. They are still replying with military action. They have got their own demands as well. And so the markets are busy reacting to what's happening. Obviously, the euro is reacting to a possible peace or ceasefire, right? If you look at the euro AUD, the euro NZD, they are reacting to the possible, open of the Strait of Hormuz. That is the big deal. That is what has been disrupting the oil supply. So yeah, so that is just a bit of an update there one can look at, all right? And so as we go over to the charts, we look at what gold is doing. We spoke about gold on Tuesday, and then we mentioned that gold is going to push back to that high there, all right? We got that push towards the upside. The setup is done. Now we're seeing a bit of a downturn on gold, all right? So if we go back to the higher time frame and just to try and understand the reason behind the downturn, if you look at the structure here, right? If you look at only this push here, you will understand that there's a possibility that gold, before it goes up, it could come back down to this low, right? It could come back down to this low one more time if we're taking this as a continuation pattern as such, right? So we are keeping an eye on, obviously, that big push on gold according to the daily structure. We are keeping an eye on this big push on gold, right? Especially now there's hopes of a ceasefire. There's hopes of de-escalation from the Middle East conflict. As such, we are watching out for this move towards the upside. So short term, right? I mean, the market is going up right now. The market has been going up right now. And so we must also keep an eye on the possibilities of this coming back down to this low before it goes up again, right? The possibilities of this coming back down to this low one more time before it goes up. We are keeping an eye on that, but we are interested in obviously a bullish run, the bullish wave. So just to go a little bit back, the move we spoke about on gold formed. So now we're looking at this possibility, right? We are still bullish on gold. So there's a possibility that we can go down one more time because of this structure here and because of this correction here. There's this possibility before we do this. So we are not, or personally, I'm not looking at this move. I'm not looking for this move down, right? I'm not looking for this move down. I'm keeping an eye out for this move towards the upside. It will depend on what's happening with the war, of course, the conflict, the Middle East conflict, of course, right? So if we get updates that Iran does not want to negotiate and all of that, then this will cause the commodities to go down then, right? So we're waiting for those 5 days to complete to know what's going to happen. And if there's any update or data that says, look, Iran doesn't want to negotiate, then we are likely going to see gold pushing down one more time before we eventually get that push towards the upside. So this one will be heavily driven by what's happening, right? The technicals are for the upside, right? In terms of the technicals, this is a complete structure. And so we should be pushing back towards the upside in terms of the technicals. So let's see what's going to happen, right? Let's see what's going to happen. I mean, you guys can prepare for any move you want to prepare for there. And then if you look at NASDAQ, right? NASDAQ from a tech standpoint, we should be getting one more push back to this high according to the pattern we see at the moment, right? According to this pattern, we should be getting one more push back to that high. So this is, of course, looking at where price has bounced from, right? Price bouncing from this low here, and on the lower time frame, taking this as a continuation pattern, right, for one more push towards the upside. So, but if it comes back down, if it happens that it comes back down to this low, right, we will still be looking for this push. There's a possibility that we're going to get this pattern and then one more push up. But if it decides to come back down and tap this low again, then definitely we're anticipating that push towards the upside. All right. So just to break the ice here, guys, you guys will let me know what is it you want us to talk about. Already we've looked at gold. All right. The move we spoke about on Tuesday is done, is complete. Right. We're looking for more upside on gold. Right. So we're looking for the possibility of gold going up from around where it is or going up from these lows. If obviously it goes back down, then we're going to anticipate gold to go up from these lows, right? So we'll see what's going to happen. There's a possibility it can go down one more time after it completed that move. But really, really interested in this move towards the upside. That is really my interest according to the structure. So let's hear from you guys. What is it that you guys want us to talk about? It is a Thursday where I am right now. It is raining. It has just started to rain where I am right now in Joburg. It is raining. So yeah. So let's see what's going to happen. Right? Almost the end of the week. Let's see what Friday and the rest of today brings us. All right. All right, let's see what is it that you guys want us to have a look at. GBP NZD we spoke about, we spoke about that on Tuesday, definitely. GBP NZD, we spoke about GBP NZD going up on Tuesday, which is the same as GBP AUD. and some euros, right? So yeah, so GBP NZD, we have now reached this area, right? On Tuesday, the market was just about to break this area. We've now reached this area. So obviously we get a break above this area and a retest of this area. We are now, or can anticipate at least price to head back to this resistance here, right? So there's a lot of momentum towards the upside, as we can see from this daily time frame, a lot of momentum. So now on the lower time frame, for as long as this bullish trend does not change direction, right? There's a huge possibility we're going back to that resistance. So it's just you keeping an eye on this trend. If it continues to create corrections, it's going to continue pushing towards the upside. So nothing has changed on GBP NZD. Nothing has changed. Since price has broken this structure here, there could be, this is what you're anticipating, right? There could be a retest here before we continue pushing up. But I would anticipate price to head back to this resistance. And then from that resistance, we'll see what's going to happen, because there's a possibility we can go down, possibility we can go up. But you see right now, we are only looking at one possibility right now. It's just one possibility of price going up. And on the resistance, definitely, we have these two possibilities there. That's it. Anticipating more upside on GBP NZD. Euro, we also spoke about Euro NZD bullish going up, all right? Hasn't changed. So this one, I've just updated the analysis today as I was preparing for the session, all right? We have this neckline here. We've got this neckline, and so it seems like price is going up to retest that neckline. Seems like it's going up to retest that neckline. Initially, I was anticipating price to bounce from here and then go down, right? This is what initially I anticipated, for price to do this and go down one more time. So now it seems like we're not going to get this possibility because of the strength of the euro against the Kiwi and the euro against the Aussie. So as such, now we are looking at this bullish trend. Now we're looking at price continue, right? Continue towards the upside, giving us a correction, continue towards the upside, continue towards the upside. So that is what we're looking for now. Just a bit of a few pips left on this one. Just a few pips left until we reach that high. All right, so yeah, so Euro NZD, an update, we spoke about it. USD CAD as well, we spoke about it for some upside on this one, on USD CAD. So it seems like USD CAD is going back to this area here. Right, just a few more pips to go to this area, and then we'll talk more about this once it reaches that zone. So yeah, so a few more pips also to go. Any corrections that can form here, then we're looking for one more push towards the upside, right? It's going back to the zone. If it breaks this zone, of course, we're anticipating more upside, but as a near-term target, we're anticipating this to go back there. Right, so nothing has changed on this one. So pound NZD, Euro NZD, USD CAD, nothing has changed on that one. While we are on pound NZD, pound AUD as well. We spoke about this one, pound AUD. Looking at where it's coming from, we said that this is likely going to push towards the upside. Looking at where it's coming from this low, right? So there's obviously there's an upward push from this low here. So we're anticipating this trend to continue. Looking for a correction before we continue pushing up, right? It seems like there is going to be a correction that could form here. Seems like we are going to get a correction here. So looking for that, for one more correction before we go up. There was a small one that formed, and so price went up. So yeah, looking for another one, for one more push towards the upside. So yeah, so GBP AUD, GBP NZD, those ones, they are still pushing towards the upside. NZD USD, I'm not sure if I spoke about NZD USD. Oh, yeah, I remember. So NZD USD went back to this low. So this one, the setup we spoke about is complete now. It went back to this low. There was a correction here. There was a pattern here for one more push down. All right. So it went back down to this low. So this one is complete. That setup is complete. From here on, right, there's a possibility, obviously, that it can continue going down since it's trading within this bearish structure. So obviously, a break of that low, we're anticipating more momentum towards the downside, right? But generally, when price reaches lows like this or even highs, right, there's a possibility it can do this or it can do this because it's on the previous lower low, right? Also, when price reached this lower low here, there was a possibility it was going to do this or do this, right? So yeah, so that is basically what we are waiting for, right? But as long as this trend doesn't change, it's going to continue going down. But don't forget that these are the two possibilities right there. So NZD USD, yeah, so there is an update there. GBP NZD, we spoke about GBP NZD, yeah, anticipating a continuation to the upside. Anticipating this to continue pushing up. All right. Good afternoon. Yeah, USD ZAR is still bullish. That one seems like it's gonna continue going up. It's gonna keep going up because it rejected on the monthly 61.8 of the Fibonacci. It rejected the monthly 61.8 of the Fibonacci. So this one seems like it's still gonna continue pushing up. This is this month's candle, right? This month's candle broke the highs of the previous 3 months, right? So definitely there's momentum towards the upside. So this one, USD ZAR, right, looks like still going to continue pushing up. So all that's needed here is obviously the continuation of this trend. Let me just remove the Fibonacci here. Yeah, so all that's needed now is just to follow this trend. That's it. Just to follow this trend. We need some corrections to form for us to go up, right? It's coming from a very, very, very strong zone, right, which is the 61.8. So the question here on USD ZAR, the question now is, since this has been forming higher lows, since it has been forming a higher low, another higher low, is this another higher low? That is the question. That is the question. And if that's a higher low there, if that's a higher low, then we can definitely get USD ZAR going back to the highs. If that's a higher low, because this structure is not broken. When price was going down, this structure was not broken at all. So the question is that a higher low? If that's a higher low, then definitely we can then look forward to this move that could easily go back to that high. You see how it is. So that is the analysis from the monthly time frame. Lower time frames, corrections that form here, continuations. That's it. Continuations, just like that. All right. NZD USD, yeah, NZD USD, we just spoke about it now. It has completed the cycle. So from there, we just need to wait to see if it breaks, then it will go down. But since it's on the low, there are two possibilities there, right? But in terms of the setup we spoke about, it's done. If it breaks to the downside, it will give you another cycle. It will give you another cycle there. Then you can go with the cycle. All right. So yeah, so NZD USD. So USD ZAR is very interesting. USD ZAR, this one very interesting. Price action on the lower time frames. Obviously, it's a bit of a mess, but it's okay. It's a bit of a mess. It's all right. Let me just... Yeah, I mean, all we want is the breaks of these structures. So at the moment is reacting from the structure here. So what we would want is for a break of the structure, possibly a retest and a continuation towards the upside, right? That is what we would want at the moment, because this structure could cause a bit of a problem. The ideal situation we want here is for price to break towards the upside. So that's your USD ZAR, that's your NZD USD. So here's a question here. This is the question. Is there a higher low? Is there a higher low? That is the question. Let's wait for the answer. Yeah, let's wait for the answer. Euro JPY is still contracting. Euro JPY is still contracting, right? Hasn't moved much, still contracting. Still contracting, so we just need to see if we're going to get a break to the upside or a rejection. All right, we just need to wait and see if you're going to get a break towards the upside or a rejection. This one is still contracting, right? It can do this, come back down here, or break and go up. Whatever direction it will take, it's going to be a trading opportunity, right? Whatever direction this will take, it will definitely be a trading opportunity. So any move towards the downside, I mean, we've got a support there, so that could be a target. And a break, we are going back to this high. Yeah, this one is still contracting. Just need a bit of a, just need you to wait just a little bit. Wait just a little bit, just a little bit. The GBP JPY already broke out, so it could easily follow GBP JPY. So the contraction we spoke about on GBP JPY was this one, and it broke towards the upside, right? So it could follow, could follow. But where GBP JPY is now, it also completed the cycle. This is what we spoke about the last time, I think, right? So from here on now, there are these two possibilities, yes, but I think we would lean more towards a break. We would lean more towards a break. But a situation like this, you've got this situation here. All right. So yeah, so Euro Yen, just be a little bit patient with it. See what is going to happen. It's contracting. We're either going to get a big move up, or we're going to reject or go down. So we just need to wait and see what it's going to do. What it's going to do. And then we've got AUD NZD. AUD NZD anticipating one more push down. I don't have it here open, but anticipating one more push down. AUD NZD is overextended, right? It is overextended. It needs to correct. It really, really needs to correct. It's overextended. Let me do this. Yeah, this wave is overextended, right? It needs a bit of a correction. So it seems like on the lower time frame, that correction, it's starting, right? So just be aware of this. On the higher time frames, it's overextended. It's overextended. So on the lower time frames, if you see a move to the downside on the lower time frames, it's because of the correction we're talking about. So let's go to the daily. Yeah, anticipating one more push down. Yeah, exactly like this. Anticipating one more push down here. So you see how we have this internal correction here. This internal correction, it can still continue doing this before it goes down, right? At the same time, it can still go down. So just keep an eye on these two possibilities. But one more push down here is definitely coming. Definitely coming, all right? And we'll just follow this structure here to see how far it goes. Everything is still bullish. Everything is still bullish. So we'll just keep a close eye to see how far it goes. How far it goes. But one more push down is what we are looking at here. One more push down is what we're looking at, or what we're looking for. Right. So yeah, so that is AUD, NZD. AUD, so this one has the potential to also, obviously we need to follow it, right? It has the potential to try and come back down here. Right? Meaning something like this. Right? I would rather try and look for sells. That's what I would do. I would try and look for sells, anticipating that we're gonna come back and tap and retest this. Right? We're gonna come back and retest this. So instead, I would rather look for for sells. Even if it goes up one more time, I would still look for this, because the potential towards the downside here seems to be, enough, quite decent. So the question is that the high? Is this the high where we're finally gonna see a retracement of this big push up? That is the question now, all right? And if that's the case, then this will definitely give us a nice move back down here. But first, let's see what this lower time frame structure is gonna do. Right, it's gonna do. I don't want to do too much on this chart at the moment. We're just gonna follow it structure by structure. So from here, right, the next target is this low now. The next target is this low. So obviously this becomes a resistance. The next target is this low. And then we're going to see what's going to happen on that low. Are we still going to continue breaking down? And then we're just going to follow it. Right. So yeah, so NZD, AUD, NZD. That's what I'm trying to say. AUD, NZD, let's see what's going to happen. But it is a pretty good setup. Euro AUD, I think we spoke about Euro. Yeah, we spoke about Euro AUD. We're still bullish on Euro AUD. Still bullish on Euro AUD, Euro NZD. We're looking at them the same way. All right. Yeah, we're looking at them the same way. So what we need here is we need a correction. We need a cycle, basically. That's what we need. We need a cycle. So price is busy pushing up. At some point, we're going to get a cycle on the lower time frame. So we need a cycle for us to get more opportunities here. That's it. For us to get more opportunities. So at some point, just be on the lookout for a correction like this before we go up. So we really need a cycle on this one. But it's bullish. It continues to push towards the upside. Euro NZD, the same thing. Wait, so that's Euro AUD, GBP AUD, I meant to say. GBP AUD, yeah. GBP AUD, we need a cycle. Euro AUD, we need a cycle. Right? Both are bullish. CAD Swiss. Let's see what's happening there. Yeah, CAD Swiss is reacting from a resistance. Let me see. Yeah, CAD Swiss is reacting from a resistance of the trend line, and looking at where price is coming from. There's a potential we're gonna continue going up. At the moment, it's reacting from this. Right, it's reacting from this at the moment. Right, could be this, could be that, but there's a reaction going on here. That resistance trend line. So with this one, seems like it's forming a correction. Looking at where it's coming from, it completed the previous cycle by giving us this. So we are looking at this now for one more push back there, right? It wouldn't make sense for this to do this. According to this, it wouldn't make sense for this to do this. If it does that, then it's okay, but it wouldn't make sense. So at the moment, seems like there's a correction forming. I would anticipate this to go back to this high. So CAD Swiss, this is what I would do. If it goes down here, then we'll come back and reanalyze and see what's happening here. There's a specific structure I'm anticipating price will form before the market goes down, and this is the structure here. Right, so any move towards the downside, I would look for it from the top. So let's see what's going to happen. But yeah, one more push up before we go down. If anything changes, we will reanalyze. All right, so that's Euro AUD and CAD Swiss. Let's see what's happening. Bitcoin is trapped in a big correction, right? It's really trapped in a big correction, Bitcoin. It's this formation here. It's trapped in this big correction. So the correction should be done, right? According to the current price action, the correction should be done and we should be going down now, right? One more push. So H4, H1. Yeah, with this one, looking at what's happening right now, we are first coming back down to this low. So there is a continuation of this move, first coming back down to this low. This is obviously in addition or in line to the completion of this structure. So we first coming back down to this low. If it breaks this low, according to structure, we should be going all the way back down, right? But short term first to that low. That's it. That is it. Yeah, that is it. One more push down. That is Bitcoin. Yeah, looking at something like this. Yeah, so looking for that possibility. Do you think the big US stocks are still bouncing or still bearish? I don't know. It's been a while. I don't know. Let's see. Tesla. Let's have a look at Tesla. Let me do this. These stocks will also depend on what the fundamentals are saying, right? It will also depend on what Tesla's fundamentals are saying. But from a pure tech standpoint here, from a pure technical standpoint, this cycle on Tesla is done, right? This cycle on Tesla is done. So this cycle here, right? This one is done on Tesla. So the question is now, what's going to happen here? I mean, we just have to wait and see what's going to happen, right? At the moment, it's pushing towards the downside. There could be a bit of fundamentals why this is going down like this, but from a pure tech standpoint, the setup towards the upside is done. It's complete. So let's see on the lower time frames how this is looking. Let me just see this. So with Tesla seems like there's a possible break towards the upside that's going to come on Tesla, right? It has bounced from that high. It is going down. It is breaking the structure at the moment. But looking at how it's going down, it is not really going down with a lot of aggression and momentum, right? It's not really going down. So it could be going to a support. Yeah, I think this is a support down here. So around this support, we could be getting a break towards the upside here. The channel to break up, the support to hold strong, the channel to break up. Right? But at the same time, it's important that you look at the fundamentals also of what's going on. Are there going to be earnings very soon for the next quarter, right? Earnings for the next quarter. And let's see. But from a pure tech standpoint, this would be the setup one would look at. One more push towards the upside. Right? Whether it's going to go up correctively or impulsively, one more push towards the upside would be the setup one would look at. Apple, let's see. I don't know. Let's have a look at Apple. Not that. Yeah, Apple is due for one more push up, right? I already spotted the pattern. Apple is due for one more push up. Short term, it is gonna go down short term. So what we have here, obviously the general direction has been bullish, all right? And what we have here is a formation that needs one more low. So we have the following here. We have the first low, the second low. So this formation needs one more low. It needs one more low. And that low is most likely going to be below the previous low there. So Apple short term, we see it still going back down short term to complete this formation. And once it breaks the previous low, it can at any point, it can start pushing towards the upside at any point, right? So at the moment, it's trading within something like this. So it needs one more low. Short term, one more push. There, before any upward push. So yeah, so short term, one more push. Tesla can also try and go down a little bit, one more push, but we just need a break out of this. So short term, it can still do this, right? Do this short term until a break happens. And then you look at Apple where it's completing this last wave. It's completing this last wave down. So yeah, so short term Apple seems to be much more clearer. Let's see, Meta. Whoa. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're all gonna bounce or they're all gonna go up. They are mixed at the moment. So I think looking at where the market is, where it's coming from, like for instance, I'm looking at Facebook right now, right? And with Facebook, I can already identify the pattern that's forming here, and I can already tell you the movements according to the pattern that are gonna form. So Facebook short term, it is bearish short term, right? I'm gonna use the weekly, then go down to the lower time frame. Facebook short term is bearish, and here we've got a demand zone on Facebook, a demand zone. So the way I see Facebook, according to this, the way I see it forming, I see it doing this, right? Going down, going back to this demand zone, and from this demand zone, giving us a retest of this, because it seems like it's going to break this zone here. There's a minor support that it will definitely break. As it breaks this, more than likely going to come back down to the demand zone, and then from there there's a possibility that if a retest forms, it's going to start forming from this area. All right, so short term, I can see Facebook short term pushing down, breaking the support, pushing down. What one can also do is to draw a channel like this, just so the channel can guide you on where the low is. So the low of this channel is on the demand zone there, right? So yeah, so we would go with this outlook that a break, we're coming back down to the low of the channel together with the demand zone, and any bounce from there, we'd expect it or anticipate it to go and test which would be a resistance. You see how it is, which would be a resistance. So yeah, so I think great opportunity. Apple, happy with Apple. One more push down on Apple. Tesla, this one I would go for a break. I would look for a break here, right? And then Facebook, Meta, just one more push towards the downside. And I think, there's so many US stocks, one can look at. Let me look at Berkshire Hathaway. I love looking at Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway, okay, it's been misbehaving. It's now trapped in this now, right? Obviously, there is, if you gauge the investor confidence, it's not as high as it was when obviously the great Warren Buffett was still the CEO of the company. He stepped down, and that's when now we got this push towards the downside. All right, it's trying to pick up. It's trying to pick up. There's a new CEO. Warren Buffett is still the chairperson of the company, and then there's a new CEO. So obviously, investor confidence is a bit shaken, is a bit low. So hence, something like this could happen. All right, but the overall performance of this stock has been magnificent over the past couple of years. It's just been doing this, right? So from where it is right now, it could slightly push a little bit down because of just investor confidence. I'm not sure of the other fundamentals that are happening, right? I just have to go and do my research and see with the company what has been happening. Maybe they've reported bad Q1 earnings, bad Q4 earnings of last year. We just have to look at that info. But it seems like it might just come back down to this low one more time. We just have to wait and see. So maybe on the next session, we'll have a look at Berkshire Hathaway. I like looking at it. It's a company that I'm really fond of, that I really like. And yeah, the rest, I guess we will have a look at them. Let me see if I missed anything. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, right, as you guys can see, there's some great opportunities. Don't forget the yen. Don't forget CAD yen. Don't forget the yen pairs we spoke about. Great opportunities there. And also keep an eye on the conflict, right? Anything can change. The US president can tweet something now or post something now, things change. So over the weekend, just keep an eye over the weekend on any developments, right? We're waiting for the 5 days to complete, the deadline to complete. Let's see how Iran is going to respond. There's also efforts been made for the Strait of Hormuz to open and for oil, to be supplied as it was. So we're still keeping an eye on those things. If things go sour, then markets will also react sharply. So just keep a very close eye on what's going to happen over this weekend. All right, it's very interesting. Let's see what the US president will do. Right. On that note, guys, that's it for this week. Trading room for this week. That's it. We'll catch you guys again on the upcoming ones. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a look at these setups. and then we'll provide you guys with more updates, right? Follow us on all social media platforms, check our websites, open an account on tdmarkets.com, and we'll talk more on care@tdmarkets.com. Right. Have a good one, guys. Cheers and good luck.